Yeah.
OK. Je pense que ça commence.
Okay. So welcome everybody. We are with Ruth today. She works for CESI Engineering School, a prestigious school in France. She's here today for giving us some tips and some information about CESI School. So please, Ruth, can you talk to us about this school, please?
Yes, thank you so much, Nolwenn, for inviting me and giving me the chance to speak a little bit about the CESI Graduate School of Engineering in France to young Ghanaians. I'm really excited to be able to share this information with you today and hope to have a presentation that will be interesting for interested students. And I'd like to share a little bit about, first of all, generally the history of the school, some numbers, so you can see where we are in the map as well, and then get a little bit more into detail about what our programs are, how to apply, and some summer school programs as well. So, CESI. The CESI Graduate School of Engineering is a graduate school that was created in the late 50s in France by actually a consortium of businesses and industry who wanted to train technicians in order that they might get their engineering degree, so their master's level degree, and get access really to salaries, employment opportunities, and also have the expertise that industries were needing at the time. And we have developed from the 50s up until now with more and more campuses throughout France. We're still focusing on the engineering part. So, with industry, software engineering, civil engineering, and construction as well. And we also have some programs in HR and HR management with a focus or a connection to industry as well. So today I really want to talk about our programs in the Grande École, and that's mostly, again, the industry focused, so civil engineering, IT, and software and industrial engineering. And if you look at the map here, you'll actually see that CESI is not one campus. We're actually 25 campuses throughout France. So some of our historical campuses would be in Rouen, for example, in Normandy, in Paris as well, in Arras, that have been established since the 1970s. And some of our newer campuses, Caen, Lille, are based and really focused on the informatics on our with our computer science program. The advantage of having 25 campuses is that we're really close, in close connection with the local network of industries, and we can help students create their own path of engineering studies in connection with what their interests are. So, for example, if you're interested in naval industries, then maybe you would go to Saint-Nazaire, where they have a lot of naval industries. If you're interested in the automotive industries, maybe you would go to Caen. Or if you're interested more in aeronautics, then maybe you could go to Toulouse or Paris, where we are in close connection with companies like Dassault and Air France in these areas. So really, our goal is to give students the opportunity to create a tailor-made path and develop professional and academic opportunities that really are in connection with their interests. So, in the numbers, we actually, in total, have around 26,000 students on all of our 25 campuses. In our Grande École program, so this would be the engineering graduate program, we have about 7,000 students. So, these are in four areas, this Grande École program. So, we have computer science, we have industrial engineering, we have civil engineering and construction, and then we have embedded systems, which is kind of a mix in between. Computer science has a computer science component and also industrial engineering component. So a lot of sensors or things used in industry that kind of need the AI as well as mechanical expertise. Also very proud of our rankings and reputation within France for our Grande École programs by Usine Nouvelle, Le Figaro, L'Étudiant. These are magazines and institutions that review engineering universities and engineering institutions every year. And so we continue to grow in those areas and in our reputation throughout France and internationally. So some of our partners or the memberships that we are a part of that I just want to highlight quickly here. The most important, I think, for Ghanaian young people to know is that our programs are accredited by the CTI, the Grande École program. That means that the engineering degree, once students have successfully finished for the post graduate program, or they've gone undergraduate and graduate program, so the full 5 years, they will have a degree that is accredited by a state recognized body. So it is a master's level program accredited by the French government. We're also a member of the Conférence des Grandes Écoles. So this is a group, commission actually of prestigious universities within France, business schools and engineering schools. So we are a member of that consortium as well. And I won't go through all of these here. Hesam University is very connected with research. So for young people that maybe are considering doing a PhD or interested in research projects, we do have researchers, we have fab labs on our campuses, and there are opportunities for more a research based or someone looking to go that route as well. And the CDIO, that's just the last one I want to mention. This is a group of universities and engineering institutions worldwide that really focus on creating innovative learning pedagogies and applying those in engineering training. So the group of universities here includes MIT, for example, Berkeley, and many other prestigious worldwide known universities as well. So we are, of course, a member of the Forum of Campus France, and that will come into play in a little bit when I speak about how to apply as well to CESI programs. So I want to highlight here the CESI programs that are offered 100% in English for students that don't have a background, or they don't have a B2 level, so a high intermediate level in French. These are the graduate programs in industrial engineering and in computer science that are offered on 5 of our campuses. So we have the industrial engineering program, which is offered in Paris, and then the computer science program is offered in Rouen, Toulouse, Lyon, Paris as well, and Saint-Nazaire. And so this is for students who are in the last year of their undergraduate studies in a connected field. So, for example, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, a more uh, kind of industrial engineering focused program, or something in computer science, and who want to continue on for their graduate studies and want to finish with a master's degree in one of these areas. And so for these two programs, that means that the courses are taught in English, and then the student would take French courses on the side so that they can develop their French at the same time and obtain a high proficiency level by the end of graduation, by graduation. And if I go here into all of the curriculum, and I apologize here, I have one graphic that's in French, but I will explain, and maybe it'll give you a chance to practice some words and learn some French words. Um, we have, like I mentioned before, four degree majors, okay, at the CESI Grande École program. So this is industrial engineering, computer science, embedded systems, and civil engineering and construction, with 2 years of undergraduate studies that lead to 3 years of graduate studies. Okay, so these during these 2 years of undergraduate studies, students actually the first year it's a common core for all first year students, and they begin to specialize by choosing what we call a minor in the second year of their studies. So it means if they have maybe some interest or leaning towards, for example, computer science, they might choose computer science as a minor, which means they're going to have a few more projects in this area, but it's still general enough that whenever they continue on to their graduate studies uh, and they choose a major, they declare their major, they can still switch majors without having to repeat that second year. And starting from those graduate level studies, so year three, students continue to specialize more and more. And that's where you're really getting into the master's level specialization courses in the area that of expertise that you chose. So this is again kind of a timeline. So full timeline after high school would be 5 years. Okay, for students that already have or are in the process of finishing a bachelor's degree, then they could apply directly to the graduate program. For students that are graduating currently from high school, we currently have the undergraduate level studies. Those are offered in French. So technical courses in French with English courses included. And this means that high school students interested in applying for directly after high school, we require a minimum level of B2 or high proficiency, high intermediate proficiency in French, as well as intermediate proficiency in English. Okay, so I will quickly continue in these slides here, I think, won't go into any more detail here, but just to, as a reminder, saying that at the end of the 5 year full program, students will have an engineering degree that's accredited by the CTI, and they can then, with that, decide to continue on, for example, to go directly into industry. They could decide to continue on with PhD doctoral studies at CESI or elsewhere. They could go on to get an executive postgraduate master's degree. And this is a degree that is accredited by the Conférence des Grandes Écoles. Um, so again, that consortium of engineering and business prestigious universities in France. And these programs are 12 months long and focus on management in industry. So this could be for something like Industry 4.0. It could be something about BEAM and construction. It could be about digital transition. It could be about continual or quality assurance. And this is a 12-month program with 6 months of time at the school and a 6-month internship with a professional thesis at the end. So that's a little bit quickly, just in a snapshot, what a postgraduate master's degree is. And what I want to talk about a little bit more in detail is the programs for the Master of Engineering or Industrial Engineering and the Master of Computer Science, since these programs are offered in English. These are programs where the curriculum is actually case studies, same as in our programs in French, but students will be working in groups and will be treating all these problems in English. So that means that they're going to be working with French students who want to study in English, they're going to be working with international students from all around the world. And throughout this degree, of course, at the end, you finish with the accredited degree. You have the opportunity to go on and, for example, do a dual degree. For example, with one of our partners in Canada, we're developing partnerships as well in the UK. And you will have international experiences throughout your time at CESI through either study abroad or internships abroad, and professional experiences as well. So the opportunity really to put the theoretical knowledge that you have developed in the classroom into practice within a business situation. So very quickly, this is a snapshot of the kinds of courses that somebody who has chosen the engineering major or this more generalist industrial major. Um, we have everybody takes human sciences as well, then the humanities, economics, management, ethics. Then there's, of course, going to be the major specific courses, so technical courses, sciences, so that could be automation or thermodynamics, for example. And then in the final year, students specialize, they choose two concentrations. So this varies. We have a wide variety, but it could be something like, for example, Lean Six Sigma, innovation, entrepreneurship, project management. Students choose two of these and they participate in workshops with professional experts in those fields. After which, they would continue on to do their capstone project, which is a 6-month internship, and they have a master's level thesis that they defend before graduation. So the computer science major, of course, we have programs, so the humanities, economics, and legal science, that's going to be the same for these concentrations in the final year. Some of them are the same. For example, a student could choose innovation or entrepreneurship or project management, but some are major specific, so like virtual reality, cybersecurity, robotics, things like that. And Nolwenn, I see you maybe have a question or comment.
Yeah, do you help students for their internship to find an internship? Yeah.
Yes, of course. So CESI has over 8,000 partner companies within France. We also have partner universities and partner companies internationally, worldwide. And so part of what we do to help students, and I might actually, I'm going to forward ahead a little bit into my presentation. Part of what we do in helping students prepare for this internship search is having workshops, really professional development workshops. So whether that's mock interviews, giving them feedback on their CVs, on their cover letters, also putting them in contact, for example, with alumni, putting them in contact with students who have already done internships in companies or in sectors that they're interested in. And then we have a whole database of our company partners and partner universities, excuse me, abroad, where we can students can apply directly to those, or we can put them in contact directly with HR in the company in question. So that's how we encourage our students and give them the tools that they need to help build their own network. With then, of course, the responsibility for them is to, they're the ones that are going to be doing the interviews and showing that they have the skills that are needed in the company. So that's a little bit how we help there in terms of the mentorship. And then in terms of the timeline for internships, just to highlight the amount of time that students, or the amount of opportunities students get to use their theoretical knowledge in a company, it's actually every year starting that second year of undergraduate studies. So here I have listed 3, 4, 5. It actually starts year 2 even in second semester with 3 to 4 month internship in the spring term. Year 3, year 4, and year 5 students for a period of anywhere from 3 months to up to 6 months for the capstone project. have an internship, and that can be either in a research laboratory, that could be in a company. For year 4, we ask students to do an international mobility. So that means that they could go study abroad, meaning with one of our partner universities, for example, in Canada, in the UK, in Spain, for example, in Belgium. They could take courses with the partner university, and that would be counted as credit with CESI. So they could do that for a semester if they're more interested specifically maybe in research, or wanting to get into to stay more in the academic areas. And then they could decide to lead on and to finish a dual degree. So that would be year 5. And again, the capstone project, year 5, whether that's in France, or, for example, if the student is doing a dual degree abroad, they have to do a capstone project. That could be a research-based project, or it could be in industry, so more business focus. So that's a quick snapshot of the internships. And if I go back here quickly, I just want to talk a little bit about our pedagogy. That's something that I mentioned when we talked about CDIO, the membership we're a part of, the organization we're a part of. And this is something we're really proud of, because we have seen that companies, when they have interns from CESI, or they hire CESI students, they are ready. They have the soft skills needed, and not just the technical skills that are so important in engineering, or any sector. And we have integrated this into our pedagogy via project-based learning. So that means that instead of having individual lectures, students are working in a group of 6 to 8 people for a period of 3 up to 5 weeks on a multidisciplinary project. So that means they'll be having, for example, a case study where they're going to have to use and apply concepts from several different disciplines. Okay, maybe mathematics, algorithms, as well as AI, for example. And then they are going to be guided by a professor who is there more in the role of a tutor, making sure that they ask the right questions, that they're looking in the right places, and they have to come up and develop their action plan, work together, and throughout workshops, at the end, they'll come up with a deliverable that they present to their professor for feedback and evaluation. So with this idea, with this kind of pedagogy, the idea is that we develop also management skills, interpersonal skills, team building skills, as well as critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and then kind of that responsibility that students go and know how to work in autonomy, and go look for the information that in the supports and the materials that we've been providing them. So in order for students to work on these projects, we have Fab Labs with, for example, virtual reality masks, 3D printers. We also have creative labs with whiteboards where students can brainstorm together and work on ideas. The Fab Labs, they might want to work on some prototypes. These are kind of just as a few pictures out to give you an idea of what our workspaces for students look like. And then if I go back to one slide here, just to give an idea of how the life of the project works, we usually start with a kickoff with a professor, where the professor is going to give the context of the case study, and where students set themselves up in groups and decide, okay, we need to draft an action plan. We need to decide what we need to do in order to be able to solve this problem. Then in the middle, when they're in the thick of things, they're going to be looking at the resources on our online platform Moodle. They're going to be participating in workshops. They will have also more traditional mathematics and physics courses. And they're going to have time and autonomy where they're going to be on campus, but expected to be working in a group and going to ask the professor questions if they have areas of they're not sure. And then they'll have a presentation and feedback from the professor who will evaluate not only the how can I say the content of the solution that they found, but also the participation, their active participation throughout the life of the project. So that's something that's really important to us as well. And quickly here to get into admissions, which I know all students are very interested about. For the application process, what we need in terms of materials is going to be all transcripts. So for high school students, that would be high school transcripts. For students that are currently in undergraduate studies, that would include their high school diploma as well as their undergraduate transcripts. We also need a cover letter. We need a CV, a valid ID, certificate of enrollment in studies. Okay, so whether that's your final year of undergraduate studies or final year of high school, and we understand that students who are in the middle of high school, they're in their last semester or they're in their last semester of their undergraduate studies, that they don't have their diploma yet. That's okay. You can create your Campus France apply on Campus France, and then send us that final document later. But it's really important to apply in advance because Campus France, the period of application, usually the platform opens middle of October. Nolwenn, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
okay, great. And will close, depending on the company, closes in, or a country, excuse me, mid-December to end of December. And, oh, maybe?
It's more in January.
Okay, okay.
Actually, for first year students, it's in the December. And
Mm,
for students who apply for master's degree, and from the second year of undergraduate degree or for postgraduate, it's more in January.
okay, okay. So December, January time. Students, really, if you're interested in applying, you should apply the fall semester or in between September and December of your final year of high school or of your undergraduate studies. Because the application process needs to be, schools receive your dossier with all your application documents that are going to be reviewed. Then we invite you for an interview where we can speak with you as well to check and see what your motivations, why you're interested in studying in France, why you want to be an engineer, why you're interested also in studying at the CESI. And then once the application process is completed via Campus France, at that time, then you would, if your application has been deemed admissible, then we would send the application documents so that you could reserve your position in CESI. And no one, you maybe had something to add.
Yeah, don't you need a proof of the English language?
Mm. So this for us, it kind of depends on also the student profile. So if a student, for example, has been some countries, they've been studying, they've been going to an international school, or they've been doing all of their high school in English. And then we wouldn't necessarily need academic proof or a test exam proof of linguistic level. But for example, if they have not done their education either in French or in English, then we would also require exams. So that could be for French, it would be the TCF or the DELF or
Mm.
the DELF. And for English, that could be something like the TOEIC, the TOEFL, IELTS, any of those exams that we would require as well. Yes, thank you for that.
Okay,
And
thank you.
then yes, of course, if students are always recommended, it's always candidates that are really interested, it's always a plus if they send us, for example, letters of recommendation, if they have a personal portfolio of projects that they've been working on in their own time, if they have other extracurricular certifications, those can always be a plus. And for in terms of recruitment for students this year who missed the Campus France deadline, exceptionally, you can send your application directly. It would have to be sent to my email address for review. And so it takes several months in terms, especially of the visa for the visa interview. So we really recommend that you send your application in the following weeks if there are students that are still interested, and ask that in the cover letter they specify which program, of course, they're applying for, and also which campus they'd like to apply for. So, in terms of admissions afterwards, students that are uh, sent a contract agreement, so a study agreement, this would be on a condition of two things. So, successfully completing the academic program that you're currently enrolled in, and also, of course, getting your visa, your student visa. So, students that enroll with us, we need them to send the signed student agreement, and also send 30% of tuition and tuition fees, admission fees. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Once that is done, we can send a receipt of that we have received the 30% of tuition fees. That's a document that's necessary for you to be able to do your visa interview, to show that really you're accepted and you've applied and you've reserved your spot in a university higher education institution in France. And so, of course, if at any for any reason, and of course we hope that this isn't the case, but if a student does not get their visa, they have their visa request refused, and maybe they have their second request refused as well, we would just need proof that their visa was refused, and then we would continue with the reimbursement of those tuition fees that were given to us. So we don't keep that. And I like to just say that to reassure students that it's not lost if they don't get their visa. So there are no application fees for international students who do not have European citizenship. And for tuition fees for the master's level program, so these are the 3 years of the graduate level program, it's 9,500 euros per year. That's tuition fees for international students who do not have EU citizenship. And for students that are applying directly to undergraduate studies, so students who already have the higher proficiency level in French, the tuition for undergraduate studies is 7,500 euros a year. And there are merit-based scholarships available for international students. This is considered by the admissions committee upon receival and review of the application. So that's another reason why we recommend students who are looking and would like to have a scholarship that they include in their application, for example, letters of recommendation, or a portfolio or anything extra that can really show their excellence. And we would also be looking for the ranking of that student in their current institution, so their grades as well as those extra kind of documents that show the motivation of the student. And And I quickly want to mention also our summer school that we're holding this summer. So that is 3 weeks long, that will be focusing on BEAM. So that's in construction, sustainable construction, eco construction, where students will get the opportunity to visit the Olympic campus, several different buildings in that are going to be in the future Olympics in Paris. Obviously, working with experts on our Nanterre campus and in workshops with other French and international students in English. On the successful completion of the program, students receive 4 ECTS credits, so that's European standardized credits. And they will also have the opportunity to spend a weekend in La Rochelle for also a part of the program with cultural visits as well as construction on-site visits. So tuition for this program is 1,500 euros, and that includes all tuition fees, cultural visits, technical visits. It does not include housing or travel. So definitely I can share this information with you, Nolwenn, as well afterwards. And the services that we have for international students when you come, whether you are a foreign exchange student here for a semester or a degree-seeking student that knows French, a degree-seeking student that doesn't know French, myself and my colleagues on each campus, we're here to um, get you connected with a buddy, for example, and really help you integrate the CESI campus that you're applied to, as well as the city that you're going to be living in for the next however many months or years. And we do that by having a care program. So this is kind of crash courses on French culture, CESI pedagogy, how to open up a bank account in France, administrative processes, things like this, kind of the onboarding into CESI. And that starts as soon as you're admitted via online Teams meetings and all the way up to your arrival and all the way up to, throughout your parkour in CESI campus. So happy to speak more in detail with interested students, answer questions, and also, of course, share this presentation with you, Nolwenn, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much to you, and I have your email address and you put it in the presentation, so I think if some students want to contact you, they will do it. Thank you a lot. If some students want to talk with Campus France about CESI, there is no problem. We're still available to answer to all your questions and to give you some information about CESI school and about the summer school. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you so much for your time. And I wish you good of the day.
Yes, thank you.